Good morning to all of you, and we welcome on behalf of Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the second edition of annual Tech-E or Technology Entrepreneurship Summit in Bengaluru. We are very happy to be here in Bengaluru, second time, and we are really also happy to note the response what we are receiving, which will not only help us to create the environment what we are aiming for, but also will strengthen the connect, southeast connect, I would say, Kolkata and Bengaluru. Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry is the oldest chamber of commerce and industry in the country. It is operating from 1833. Yes, we are old. We have a very significant glorious past, but one of the main key factor on which we are working, Bengal Chamber is constantly changing its course, contemporary and contextual to the present need. And definitely I can, with my experience of working with the chamber, I can tell that it is of course dealing with the subjects which are extremely contemporary and contextual today. We have seen the industrial development, Industry 4.0, managing uncertainties, innovations, which is probably the driving thing for today. And we have almost 30 sectoral committees. In each of the committees, we try to give importance and emphasis on those areas. West Bengal, if you say, it's definitely a very, very, I would say, excellent potential area for investment, and particularly in the IT sector. It has significant investment taken place in last couple of years. We have 200-acre special Bengal Silicon Valley project. The area has been identified, where also we are seeing the international investors are also coming. There are resources available on the human resource side, and also ease of doing business has taken a very significant role in both in government and non-government sector in West Bengal. As it is, I can tell you that Bengal Chamber recently set up a technology incubation center with Hon'ble, the nodal agency of IT and E Department, Government of West Bengal, and partnered with organizations like Bandhan, Hewlett-Packard's Enterprise, Google Cloud, Amazon Web Series, etc. Many of these incubators are coming from the districts level. And the first batch, which started in 2019, was the technology startups, founders being from all the districts of the Bengal. Today, we have almost 85 startups who are working, and we are very proud to say that some of them has been really commercialized and accelerated their growth. There have been accolades and acknowledgement by the international forums also on some of them, which I can see a few of them are here also from yesterday, and had fruitful interaction with the partners, the potential partners. There is a systemic process of mentoring, periodic monitoring, and the facilities what are required to really grow. It's not the innovation and the ideas only, how to translate and transform it into the business parameter. That mentoring is also very much required, and that we are definitely from Bengal Chamber we are organizing. We are expecting at any point of time, we will be honored with the presence of Honorable Minister in charge, Mr. Shri Babul Supriyo, who is the Minister in charge of IT, electronics and renewable energy from Government of West Bengal. We are also honored with the presence of Mr. Gopichand Katragadda and Mr. Chamaria, who is the chairman of the Infinity Group, and I would mention for my colleague Arnab Basu, he is the president-elect for Bengal Chamber, and also Mr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, who is the chairman of the IT Entrepreneurship and E-Commerce Committee of Bengal Chamber. Another important aspect I can see that while dealing with Kolkata, we have made a strong connect with the neighboring countries, particularly looking into the east. We have, with the Chamber of Commerce of starting from Vietnam, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Myanmar, we have made some association also. It's a formal shape we have taken up, and we are having periodic meetings, interactions, so that in the form of B2G, B2B, B2C, everything can be organized, and we are getting good results. One of the major focus of Chamber has been for the last couple of years, and more precisely this year, is sustainability. We have made it a focal point for all the activities what we are doing. Sustainability not really, I mean only on the environmental aspect. All the SDG goals, 17 SDG goals, we are trying to focus on those goals. In fact, we are the only chamber who participated in COP26 in Glasgow, and not only participated, we have been entrusted with holding a sectoral discussion on accelerated e-mobility and job opportunity, gender equity. So we have formed a sustainability forum also. That also is working on, we are working on some of the blue carbon credit projects in one of the area you might be knowing, Sundarban, which is probably one of the worst hit on the climate change what is happening today. We are also giving importance on the livelihood, skill training, large level skill training is being organized by, this is NSDC program, National Skill Development Council program. And definitely we have now opened up the office in Delhi. So entire focus is now giving on sustainability. Sustainability includes the customer choice, stakeholder management, managing uncertainty, livelihood, employment, everything together. I have a strong belief, and I sincerely believe that such interactions, because we have now decided not to really concentrate or put all our activities in Kolkata. We are operating in other metro cities in the country, as well as in the other states also, and definitely getting a very good response with respect to investment, with respect to collaborations, tie-ups. We handled the net zero delegation. Recently we had a net zero delegation to UK, which also had a very encouraging response. In our Bengal Global Business Summit, what is being organized by government every year to attract the investments. This year, we not only had 5 sectoral discussions from the chamber, but also we have been entrusted with the responsibility of the entire UK and US delegation, which was focusing on net zero. So with this, I believe that definitely it will be a very effective deliberation today, and we are hopeful to have some fruitful results. With this, I welcome you again to this summit, and would like you to make it more and more interactive as much as possible. Thank you.
Good morning. As always, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here in the second edition of the BCCI Tech E-Summit. Somehow, whenever you come to Bangalore, I think you feel the palpable energy of the city, right? So doesn't matter whether you're coming from Bombay or Delhi or Calcutta, Bangalore has its own vibe, its own excitement in some way. So when we thought of doing a program for entrepreneurs and primarily for startups, we felt that it's important to do this event in Bangalore, not only because of the fact that we have a very vibrant community of startups here, but also it's an ecosystem where it's very easy to bring different parts of the startup ecosystem, right from the founders to the investors to the angel investors, the VC funds, quite a few private equity players, all of them, into a room to have a discussion, and that's what we had yesterday. I think yesterday's conversations were very, very significant for many of the startups who got to pitch, who got to speed date, who got to share what are their thoughts. But when we think of, this e-summit and what went into the thought process, as Mr. Ray was saying, BCC had taken that, it's a very active focus on tech and digital over the years. And over the years, we started with having a, tech committee, IT committee, and, we were looking at more emerging tech programs. And then we felt that, it is important to not only look at the core tech, but it's also important to think of people who are using the core tech to innovate. And obviously, that's how the entire Tech E-Summit came up. And what's the objective? The objective is that BCCI has been, in conjunction with Babul, doing a fair amount of mentoring of startups, right? We have had quite a few hackathons. We have had quite a few startups which we are continuously mentoring. We are trying to help them, and Babul has been a great partner in this with us. But when you look at startups, it's not just important to mentor them. It is also important to connect them, right? A startup ecosystem is, more valuable than just one mentor giving a mentorship. And this Investor Connect has, over the last 2 years, emerged as a very significant value addition in what we are doing as a Chamber of Commerce to connect startups. And we received very good positive feedback last year, and yesterday also quite a few of the investors. We had conversations with them, post the pitches, and they were quite thrilled with the interaction they had with the startups. Now, if you think of startups, every startup is after large ticket investment, right? And how do you channelize some of this large ticket investment is obviously always our desire. We all are trying to work around that. But what is very important is that how do you prepare the startup for this journey? What exactly is the startup founder bringing to the table? The startup founder is bringing to the table great innovation, great use of technology, and, a great idea. Now, it is important to connect that into a great ecosystem. It is important to mentor them in different aspects of the business, connecting them with the wider stakeholders. More importantly, making them realize the true potential of the idea. And how do you do that? Now, if you think of it, it's very difficult to think of a startup without also at the same time thinking of what is the scale-up plan. To think of a startup without thinking what is the governance plan. And while to the founder, the innovation comes natural, the idea comes natural, things like governance, things like, how do you work on your valuation? What goes into a diligence? What would typically an investor look in your business? These are things which are probably, they come in much later. But they're important things, right? Because when you're putting your money into a startup, you not only want to look at the idea, you also want to look at what's the overall structure of the organization. And that's been the primary focus of this kind of a summit. How do you get to a valuation? Every startup would like a valuation. How do you get to a valuation? Is it like, one fine morning I just wake up and think that, oh, I want to be an unicorn? So I think some of these activities need broad-based conversation, needs a lot of collaboration within the ecosystem, and that's what we are trying to do. The goal is to organize regular platforms like these for startups to connect, and we are doing a few of those in Calcutta, over the last 2-3 years. We felt that this is important to do a, event like this in Bangalore as well. We also understand that there's a lot of promise in today's world of crowdfunding some ideas, and many of these startup investments, the startups prefer this kind of an investment model. When it comes to raising equity versus raising debt, many of the startups have very different thought processes, and part of it is also dependent on the idea itself, that whether that idea is, likely to get equity exposure or not. And we're also getting, from our close and extended networks, we are getting a lot of investments from some of these, network which is coming in and saying that, this is a great platform where we could interact, we could learn about this, we could, engage early. A lot of it is about engaging early, and a lot of it is about engaging at the right time, because many of the ideas, there's a timing of that idea. If you miss the timing, then the idea sometimes goes stale. And I think some of these interests have not only been, managed within India, we've also been able to manage, some of the overseas investors also into coming in, spending time. Last year, we got a few speakers who are part of the VC network in the Silicon Valley who came and spoke. Today also you would find that we have quite an august gathering of speakers. We also have a few startups coming and talking about their journey, right? Last year we had Bluestone as one of the startup founders who came and had a really candid conversation about his journey and how he moved from physical to omnichannel and what they were doing, and the interplay between all of that. So I think it is important that some of these interests are deliberated on, discussed on, and we learn from each other. The other thing which we have also tried to do is, how do you get the industry and the academia to work together on some of these? If you today look at any of the large academic institutions, almost all of them have a startup wing. And part of that is that if you look at students coming off the IITs and the IIMs, many of those students take a decision much early that they want to get into entrepreneurship. They also want to, do something on their own much early, much before finishing their courses. And for that also, the industry academia becomes a very, very critical part. The other thing which we have also looked at is, if you think of India of today, and the digital India of today, there's a fair amount of entrepreneurship along with entrepreneurship, right? There's a fair amount of innovation which is happening within larger organizations, and many of the larger organizations, including some which we come from, they're grappling with how to really take advantage of this entrepreneurship, and how do I create an opportunity for people who are working in large corporates to also bring their ideas in. They shouldn't feel that the only option is to go out. How do I help them get to patents? How do I help them get to new business ideas? How do I, make them feel part of this journey while they're working for a larger brand? So I think that's also another area where you would see a lot of discussions today. We have again a very good panel which is there, which is going to deliberate on that. So I think if you look at this, this is our endeavor from the chamber to bring all of these stakeholders together, and anybody who is thinking that, this is an interesting area or an interesting place to be part of, this is the, platform at which we can connect them. This is the platform at which we can make it meaningful for them. So that's the idea. With that, I would probably again say, welcome to the event. It's a, full day, and we have packed a lot of speakers into it. On the ring side, there are also going to be some, bilateral conversations. So we would also, encourage you to participate in some of those. As we were talking, the minister in charge of IT from West Bengal is here as well. Once he finishes his, his speech, he's also quite keen to speak to all of you. And if you feel that, there are specific thoughts which you have about West Bengal, you can't get a better person to ask those questions from. So, and you have a very long life. You have a very long life. I was just talking about how they should be taking advantage of your presence here today. But with that, again, a very warm welcome, and I wish you all a very fruitful day. Thank you.
Thank you, President-designate. As you can see, today's program has been presented to you by BCCNI and in association with Infinity. I would request Mr. Chamaria, Group Chairman Infinity, to share his perspectives. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is such an honor and pleasure to be back for the Bengal Chamber's second edition of the Tech E-Summit. It was my privilege to share some thoughts with this august audience last year and return enriched with the many discussions and deliberations held, and I am sure this edition will be as meaningful as enriching for all of us. It is equally wonderful to be back in Bangalore, the Indian city that has transformed itself remarkably into India's startup capital and the Silicon Valley of Asia, showcasing its status as a global hub of innovation and talent. This excellence has of course been sparked and complemented by the entrepreneurial spirit of giants such as Infosys and Wipro, companies that set up operations in Bangalore employing Indian programmers. This room is no different. I am cognizant of the fact that I am not only in the midst of the foremost technocrats and investors of the country, but also surrounded by the most promising mentors, accelerators, disruptors, innovators, consultants, and more. Since I come from Kolkata, it is also delightful for me to note is how firmly Bangalore endorses Bengal's talent, particularly in IT sector. The number of professionals who hail from Bengal, who have now made Bangalore their home and assert successful careers and journeys is a mark of rich collaborative success. At this stage, let me share a bit about our own 2 decades plus journey and background. I am Ravindra Chamaria, Chairman and Managing Director of Infinity Group, which is headquarters in Sector 5, Kolkata. Many of you are familiar with the success of Sector 5 as a CBD and IT hub of Calcutta. But that was not the case 2 decades or so ago. Back then, Sector 5 was literally considered to be a back of beyond of Calcutta, an area that was hardly visited, leave alone be tagged happening or significant in any way. But today, Sector 5 is throbbing and with talent, energy, and enterprise. The journey of our group, Infinity, started back in 2000, a development that we called Think Tank since it was to be our headquarters in Kolkata. Even after more than 2 decades, Think Tank continues to be regarded as a pioneer, first of its kind, intelligent IT infrastructure of Eastern India, that catalyzed and spurred growth both locally as well as in entire region. Since then, the Infinity footprint has grown substantially in the last 2 decades with developments such as Infinity Benchmark, which is a USBG Platinum rated green building, 7th of its kind in the world, and only 2nd outside US, to Godrej Waterside, to the largest IGBC gold-rated IT building in Eastern India, Infinity IT Lagoon, a platinum-rated green building by IGBC, to name only a few. Each of our developments bear the signature of Infinity stamp and being green and sustainable. Our endeavor has been widely recognized and awarded by perhaps one of the most valuable validations comes from the fact that over 350 noted and renowned corporate houses and promising startups choose to work out of our IT and business park. In these last 2 decades or so, Sector 5 has transited its status as the largest IT hub in Eastern India to assume the role of dynamic economic driver. It has served as a catalyst for the comprehensive development of Greater Calcutta, encompassing areas such as Salt Lake, Rajarhat, Newtown. This remarkable expansion has not only stimulated progress but has also brought prosperity and recognition to the entire eastern region. Coupled with this of course, is Calcutta's rich talent pool and intellectual capital, both duly complemented by the city's unique culture, equity, and strong education institutions. The state has over 150 government and private colleges affiliated to WBG, producing graduates who are skilled in various engineering disciplines. The state government, in collaboration with the National Skill Development Corporation, has also been focusing on skill development initiatives to enhance the employability of its youth. These factors have enabled Calcutta and West Bengal to emerge as a significant hub for startups and skilled workforce, driven by a supportive and vibrant ecosystem with hundreds promising startups, particularly strong in sectors like IT, education, and healthcare. The state also benefits from the government initiative like Startup Bengal, which provides resources, mentorship, and funding opportunity to foster entrepreneurship. Bengal also enjoys some strategic advantage, such as being the gateway of the East, as well as offering low-cost talent and a great work-life balance. We have come a long way, but with the guidance, support, and mentorship, we could go further, rise higher, and shine brighter. I stand here seeking your hand-holding to aid us to raise the bar higher and create an even more emboldened ecosystem comparable to the very best anywhere in the country or overseas. I stand here assuring you of Bengal's intentions and competence, of our environment and our talent, of our determination and enthusiasm, and extend a warm invitation to each of you to come and experience our progress and strive for yourself, and while doing so, help us steer our course and journey to the next level. By leveraging the collaborating efforts between Bengal and Calcutta, the growth story of both cities can be extended, unlocking new opportunities and scripting a sustainable economic growth. I now look forward to listening to the wisdom of our formidable lineup and all other remarkable proceedings throughout the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We would now request Mr. Gopichand Katragadda, founder and CEO, Myelin Foundry, to please share his thoughts on technology and innovation driving growth. Mr. Katragadda, please.
Thank you so much. It's indeed a pleasure and privilege to be here and talking to this august gathering. Shri Babul, Supriyo, Honorable Minister, definitely looking forward to your discussion. And thanks for the invitation to Rudra and also Mr. Gautam Roy, President BCC and I, and Arnab Basu, President Designate. So also it's a privilege because I've interacted significantly with technologists who are from Bengal. In fact, I must tell you a story that during my career with the GE, at one point of time, HR came up to me and said, Gopi, there is an allegation that you are biased. I am from Andhra Pradesh, grew up in Karnataka, so I said, I'm biased, but my team is very diverse. So she said, no, apparently you're biased for Bengali technologists. So that's my background. The only time I've been accused of being biased was towards Bengalis. But I'll tell you the story behind the story also. As one example at least. So there was this problem. It was an innovation problem. Plastics had a procedure of testing samples, new plastics which they make. And it's a manual process. So a plastic is held by a clip, and you bring a Bunsen burner under that. The plastic catches flame. You see how much time it took for the plastic to catch flame. Then you remove the flame, and you see how much time it takes for the flame to die out. And then you bring it back again, and you see how much time it takes for the plastic to drip. And all of this was being done manually by looking at the plastic sample and the flame, and the distance had to be maintained to a specific dimension. And obviously, this is a non-accurate process for a human being to do it, and for 10-15 years they had been trying to automate it. And in that process, they had tried many things globally, more so in New York than anywhere else, and failed thoroughly. what they were trying to do was subtract the flame from the plastic and hence look at the distance. So I took my colleague Anandraj Sen Gupta, you know where he is from, so to the problem, because that's how you look at getting closer to the problem and solving it. And he looked at the process and says, Gopi, you can't subtract the flame. What you need to do is track the shadow. Right? The flame doesn't cast the shadow. As the rest of it casts a shadow. So you just have cameras tracking the shadow instead of trying to subtract the flame from the sample. Such a beautiful solution on the spot, and we put it to use for GE Plastics, and I'm pretty sure it's being used even today. Since we are talking about entrepreneurship and a couple of times innovation was mentioned, I thought I'll share this true story about colleague from Calcutta, who I still regard as one of the best innovators. I currently am running a startup, Myelin Foundry. However, my background has been that I've been in the US. I worked for started off with a startup, then worked for GE for 12 years in India, and then worked with the Tata Group as the group CTO. Even with GE, I was running across all the various divisions. So I bring that background to make the following statements and views on entrepreneurship in India and what we can do to get better. First and foremost, I think there was already discussion about investment. I'll focus on a particular aspect, which is deep tech startups, which is something that we need a lot more of. Not that we do not need the simpler Me Too, B2C kind of startups, which are there. You take something which has been developed elsewhere, like cab hailing app, make it for India, make it specific to Indian needs, and you have a wonderful business. We do need that. But we also need, and maybe more so because we need to take pride in this intellectual capital, the deep tech startup. So from that perspective, if you look at investment, we need patient investment. And it's very difficult to find patient investment. Luckily for us, in our company, we got SIDBI, we got few other startups, which are, few other VCs, which are specific to deep tech investments, and they are patient. But more than often, what you get as deep tech investors are people who say we have patient capital and they want revenues from day zero. Revenues start in a deep tech company from fourth year, even globally, but you get good returns because you have spent that much time building a world-beating product. Second is, from a customer standpoint, sitting in India and trying to sell a B2B product is so difficult. Everybody wants to do a POC, a proof of concept, and unpaid POC, an unpaid proof of concept, and that after that it will go nowhere. So essentially what large corporations are doing is that they're not doing sufficient R&D, so they are arm twisting startups to be their extended R&D for free of cost. This is unfair, and so that is another thing which needs to change. I would request startups not to do unpaid POCs, unpaid POCs, because that's not going to go anywhere. When there is no flesh in the game, it's not going to go anywhere. So take that call and not do unpaid POCs. And I would ask the large corporations to not request for unpaid POCs. How shameful. You are the large corporation, you want to do some R&D work, at least pay for the proof of concept and ensure that if that proof of concept is successful, take it further. And then coming to the startup itself, a deep tech startup should have good aspiration. It should be global. The impact should be global for a deep tech startup. So it should be global first. And the impact should be thought about in billions of dollars. Revenues should be thought about in billions of dollars. Otherwise, why will there be a patient capital? So we need to develop that capability to build startups as entrepreneurs, which has that ambition. And from a team standpoint, our talent pool is amazing. And so the ability to get people who are good at producing technology, doing the accounts, doing various functions which are required for an entrepreneurship, we got the greatest of talent. What I would suggest there is for the talent to get more hands-on. So even for Bengal, this is my message, because anyway I've been accused of being biased for Bengalis is that great thinkers need to be more hands-on. This is true of India also, is that we need to get more hands-on, which means get closer to the data, get closer to the customers, travel the world, understand what is happening, get closer to, so it just doesn't mean that you're getting closer to the grease and touching the grease. That might not be valid anymore. Get closer to the music, the ability to produce music through AI, whatever it might be, you need to be, and we need to be, and I need to be more hands-on. So I'll wrap up my discussion. I think it's wonderful that the Bengal Chamber of Commerce and Industry is hosting this session in Bangalore. There is a lot to learn from Bangalore. As an entrepreneur and representing startups and having come from a large corporate world, my request to the ecosystem, which was talked about by Arnab, is that we need patient capital. We need leadership amongst corporations. We need entrepreneurs who have a hunger to make a global impact. We need teams which are more hands-on. Thank you very much and have a great session.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Katragadda. Now, before we request our chief guest,
West Bengal today is a preferred IT destination. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, IT&E scenario of Bengal has reached an inflection point in its growth trajectory. Excellent infrastructure, ideal location, and seamless connectivity to international borders like Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh make the state a gateway to major Asian business hubs. During the lockdown, the West Bengal government promptly initiated a 24/7 IT helpline, ensuring 100% attendance in critical back-office management like data center operation for British Telecom. During this period, LTI Mindtree established a foothold in the eastern region, employing around 3,500 individuals, with plans to accommodate 15,000 to 20,000 people in the next 5 years. West Bengal boasts 22 operational IT parks, which has attracted 407 companies and created employment. Bengal's Silicon Valley hub, Eastern India's prime IT destination, spans 200 acres and is situated within a 10-minute reach from Kolkata International Airport. FinTech hub in Newtown, the future of financial services, is another area of prime focus. Significant attention is directed towards Webel Fujisoft Vara Center of Excellence, equipped with cutting-edge facilities for data science, 3D printing, IoT, and cyber security. Bengal features a substantial talent reservoir, producing tech research scholars and graduates annually. Presently, the state hosts around 1,000 operational IT or ITES training institutes. Bengal is a tech innovation hub focusing on AI, blockchain, and cloud computing, among others. It is setting up centers of excellence and partnering with universities like the University of Calcutta, St. Xavier's University, and IIT Kalyani through MOU for industry-academia collaboration. Webel Animation Academy is transforming Bengal's animation landscape, skilling manpower, while Webel Education and Training Vertical leads IT training in rural areas, enhancing the state's talent pool. Bengal excels in ease of doing business with streamlined policies and a dedicated single-window clearance portal. Anumati, the single-window clearance portal, generated 190 million in revenue. The single-window clearance guidelines for mobile towers, optical fiber, internet landing stations, and the establishment of upcoming Drone Academy will boost the tech ecosystem. In Bengal's vibrant IT sector, 900+ companies have driven a remarkable 286% growth in exports from INR 8,500 crores in 2010-11 to over 33,000 crores in 2022-23. Bengal hosts tech giants like TCS, Cognizant, IBM, and more. Despite the pandemic, Infosys, Mindtree, L&T Infotech, ITC Infotech and others launched operations in Kolkata. Bengal's booming IT&E sector have already seen direct employment of over 2.53 lakh and indirect employment exceeding 25 lakhs, marking a remarkable 181% growth in the past decade. Bengal's IT&E sector stands as an attractive investment destination for several compelling reasons, which includes affordable talented manpower with the least attrition rate in the country. All these have attracted global growth creators like Calsoft and Persistent, among many others. Recognized at the DSCI Excellence Awards 2020 and 2021, Bengal's Cyber Security Center of Excellence actively promotes awareness, delivers sector-wide training and safeguards cyberspace through thorough audits, all in harmony with the state's business-friendly policies. Welcomhotel, being one of the few government organizations impaneled by the CERT-In, is mandated to ensure a cyber-safe Bengal. Startup promotion. NASSCOM 10,000 Startup Warehouse and Welcomhotel BCCI Tech Incubation Center in Kolkata have fueled numerous startups, fostering a thriving ecosystem in the state. Together with a stable industrial climate, committed leadership and focus on holistic growth, the land is brimming with intellectual prowess. So come and ride the wave of growth and invest as Bengal transforms into the ultimate global IT hub.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, a very good morning, and I am looking forward to a great day ahead. First of all, I would like to thank BCCI for holding the second Tech Summit, and that too in Bangalore. Apparently and realistically, the city which we would call the IT capital of India. But I have other things in mind, and that's what I'm going to share with you. What you saw is a audio visual from the BGBS that we have held in Calcutta, an endeavor by our Honorable Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, while she aspires and thrives to make Kolkata the next IT hub of India that is happening and expanding, simply because it seems, and it's also the reality, that all the other so-called hubs in India, whether it is Bangalore, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Mumbai, they have all reached a super saturated status, and that the biggest parameter is the traffic jams that you see while you try to reach those IT offices. I'm sure you will have to follow a different BST, Bangalore Standard Time, to actually adjust your meeting times in your offices. First and foremost, at the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Gautam Ray, President BCC&I and President Corporate RPSG Group. I know him for a very long time, and he's one of the most important men from CESC, and I also hold the non-conventional and renewable energy department. So we have a lot of scope to work together. It's exciting to have him here on dais. Mr. Ravindra Chamaria, Group Chairman, Infinity Infotech Parks Limited. Yes, he's working a lot in Kolkata, and we expect infinite, cooperation with our department and with West Bengal government to make his endeavors in Kolkata even more larger. His son was sitting beside me on the flight yesterday, and I realized that is exactly what they're walking towards. And so, if you're walking the right, way, the only goal is to keep walking. So, I would also like to thank Mr. Gopichand Katragadda, founder and CEO, Myelin Foundry. I caught one particular line that you said, that travel the world and get close to the music. I am happy to tell you that that is one profession that takes me around the world. I'll be, going to Kuwait, Qatar, Indonesia in the next 2 months, and then doing a long US and Canada tour in October, from the 4th of October. And that there's nothing to do with the other side. It's my better half, the music that I'm going to take you. So your dream of getting close to music and touching it actually is something that I'll be doing. So that should make you happy. I said that because that's one line, a leaf that I've taken out of what you said. Mr. Dr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, Chairperson, IT Entrepreneurs and E-Commerce Committee, BCC and I, Co-Chairperson, IT Committee, BCC and I, and Chief Executive Officer and Director, Visit Tech Informatics Private Limited. I'm sure I do see a lot of very familiar faces, dignitaries from different parts of the country and also from Kolkata. It is very, it's always a very hard thing to deliver a speech to people who obviously know much more than you. So without much ado, I'll get directly into what I want to say, because social media, as you know, is a very big menace. If your speech is longer than what it should be, then people go into Instagram and Facebook, and there are very many interesting things, new trailers of movies, whether a heroine has lost her cat, or if there is a divorce happening. There are a lot of news. So it's very easy to get into Instagram and Facebook if your speech is longer. So without much ado, I'll directly get into what I'm here for. It's a very simple one-liner. Come to Kolkata. That's what it is. And I find your name BCC and I very, very interesting, because B stands for Bengal and I means you, I. So get to Kolkata, and CC, that's the middle two acronyms that you have. So come to Bengal, that's the first word, that's exactly what I'm here for. And it's B and you, and what I would say is C and see what you can get in Kolkata. It could be a very light joke. I know it brought a lot of agony to the people in Bangalore, but there is a reason why there was a cloud burst in Bangalore. It is overloaded, it's super saturated. So you can't do all cloud computing in Bangalore. It had to burst at some place. So get to Kolkata. It's you're going to be in a better space. There are several endeavors, several changes that we have made in our. We do have a IT policy which supports and which is very futuristic, and we are continuously in the process of upgrading that and taking it closer, so that you face better music in trying to set up shop in Kolkata. The first thing that I would really want to mention is something that makes our workspace very interesting and competitive with the rest of India, and that is that having kept the 48-hour cap of working hours in the IT sector in a week, per day working hours was limited to 8.5 hours. That caused a lot of agony, a lot of hardships to companies who are billing to countries working with the West. So the 8.5 the cap on billing, it did cost you a lot of I would say financial losses. So that has been taken care of just about 10 days back in a meeting with Honorable Chief Minister. I managed to put that point across, and given the fact that she's so enthusiastic about making IT a very big thing in Kolkata, she immediately agreed, and that's now a thing in Kolkata. We have already issued the notification, so that takes care of a very big agony or a very big demand that all of you have brought to the IT ministry in Kolkata. In terms of startups, I will not say much, because all of you, there are several young guys who are coming, who were there in the lift with me, and I saw their badges. It says they're attending this. So they're all, given their ages, they're all into startups, and they're with experienced people like you, trying to guide them in the right direction. Of course, BCCI has played a very important part in it. They are running I would like to thank you that with our something that is part of the IT industry, our very important ancillary Welcomhotel. You are working with Welcomhotel BCCI Tech Incubation Center, and you have incubated about 59 startups from 2019, and I believe that many of them have done very well, like We are, producing honey from technology-driven bee corridor at Eco Park. That's a fantastic thing. I think that also takes care of a lot of, farmers who lose their lives while delving into deep forest in search of honey. So that's a fantastic thing. It's very interesting. That is called Scorpion Solutions. You have the Ezerex Health Tech Private Limited, Elab Agro Solitaire Initiatives Private Limited. So I think that, when you choose certain startups from a huge, a long list of startups, the ones that get selected, the ones who get, investments. I'm not talking about what happens on television, but on the realistic, on the ground, the investments that you get are the startups which are close to reality, that brings solutions to human life and are not utopian dreams that you're chasing. So, we have in the IT ministry itself, on the floor just above my office, we have given about 10,000 square feet of space to NASSCOM, 1,000, which is a startup warehouse. And they started in 2015 and are doing well. And I make it a point that I visit that, startup incubation center regularly and listen to the ideas, the new ideas that the guys who are working there, and give them the encouragement or even expertise from the IT department so that they can, they can find a way to make their startups feasible, workable, and financially viable while they, explore when they enter the external world of trying to make the startups bigger financially. Let me come to the Silicon Valley thing. You'll be happy to know that, Silicon Valley, Bengal Silicon Valley, which is in Sector 5, that's a smart city. For a very long time, since I was small, I'm still small, but whenever I used to go, I was smaller. That, with our parents, we used to visit Chandigarh. And we used to say that this is the most planned city in India. So if you visit Sector 5, if you see New Town and all that, it is indeed a new town. And it is the infrastructure and everything is new. And that makes, a tech city, a tech hub, a much more good looking and makes things easier for everyone to work there. So, in Bengal Silicon Valley, we gave away land at 80% discount. That 1 acre of land, when we started giving it away, was 25 crores per acre. We gave it away for 5 crores an acre. And I'm very happy to tell you that the entire space, there are about 200 acres, 250 acres, the entire space has been taken. Entire space has been taken, and we have great companies like Reliance. They have an IT park of 41 acres. We have Airtel Nextra, we have ST Telemedia, NTT, a Japanese giant in data center business. We have Larsen & Toubro, TCS, Infosys, who has taken 50 acres of land, not inside BSV, but outside, just outside BSV. We have the Wipro office coming up there. And if you see the way, Infosys have made their establishment there, apart from generating humongous amount of employment, they have also inspired other companies to come and invest in Bengal. And if it's not what I say here, it's about going to the place and finding out from the horse's mouth. When I say horse's mouth, these companies are horses of the long race. So if you find out from them how quickly we got the infrastructure done around the Infosys office, whether it is roads, drainage, lights, everything that makes their office completely functionable and easier for the recruitment that they're going to speed up in the next coming few months. That makes the entire hub a very smart place to work with. In terms of we have several IT parks all over the state, about 21 of them. And in those parks, obviously the price is much lesser. In Kolkata, it's 5 crores an acre, it's 25 crores an acre. If you go to Durgapur, if you go to any of the other 21 parks, IT parks that we have in West Bengal, there the prices are very less, depending on, in some places it's just maybe 20 lakhs an acre, some places 40 lakhs an acre. And some time back we made a endeavor to see that we do not increase the price of that in the next few years to make it easier for people to come and invest there. We have the cable landing station in Haldia, which is not a bad thing, it's a great thing to have close to the IT hub. We have the Suvidha portal. We have made a lot of things from the IT department, in Petropol, in the India-Bangladesh border. At one point of time, there used to be a line of lorries which would go up to 500, 700. And no one knew when they would get to meet the person at the toll plaza or the entry point. Today, with the Suvidha portal, you can actually, it's like, book my show or make my trip or anything. They don't sponsor me for any of my shows, but I'm mentioning them because it makes it easier for you to understand. So, you can actually book the slot at which your vehicle or your inventory reaches the entry points, and you can get your job done with your papers at a very fast time, and that has also generated humongous amount of revenue for the state as well. When I'm talking about the 20 IT parks all over the state, you'll be happy to know that in those places we have introduced some fantastic initiatives, like the property tax that are collected by the local bodies. We have exempted about 50% of that. Not about, it is 50% the property tax that we have exempted. 15% floor area ratio will be allowed, which is more than what you are buying in the allowed IT and ITES buildings. There is a 100% electricity duty waiver. That's a big amount that is being charged. So at the 100% electricity duty waiver, there is 100% waiver in the stamp duty and registration cost. You can't get higher than 100%. That is one we are doing. There is a West Bengal data policy, as I said, 2021, which we are continuously upgrading. Right now, I said that the 8.5 hours cap has been brought up to 9 hours a day. So that in itself says that we are continuously upgrading on the policy that we have. There is a single window clearance that we have in WBEIDCL. Now that's a very, what should I say, in my 8 years in the center, I've realized that there is nothing called a single window. When you have a single window, too many people start to try to enter from that window. It's better to have doors, big doors from where you can enter. You can directly reach, I've worked in Standard Chartered for 2 years before I ran away to Bombay to, pursue my dream in music. So when I was working for Standard Chartered in 91, 92, I saw that was the time when computers and teller systems got introduced in the banks. So it is better to not have a window. It's better to have several doors where you can directly reach the teller in the counter, who's going to take care of your unique way of getting the relevant permissions and all other clearances that you need to have. HITCO, who is part of the entire endeavor in terms of the land that we have there. They are also working at a very fast pace in clearing those log jams or any kind of problems that exist. And I think in the recent past, if you see, many companies will tell you how individually they have interacted with me or our Chief Principal Secretary Rajiv Kumarji, who's also now the Director General of Police in Bengal. He's our Principal Secretary. So you know that we are covered from all sides to ensure that you are in the right hands. He being a disciplined IPS officer, he wakes up very early, about 4 o'clock, maybe 5 o'clock he wakes up. Coming from the musical background, I sleep at 4 because I need to do my music late in the night. So this is one ministry which works 24 hours. So that I'm sure is music to what he was saying. We're getting close to music. And I think that it is very important for all of you to, there is one thing that I say, I go to several such, conferences, I deliver a speech, and there are words like paradigm shift, holistic approach, sustainable development. They actually do nothing. Those are all bureaucratic jargon which stays in the speech. I also have a black and white speech written by my very efficient Pushpan Chatterjee, who's been coordinating everything with you, my WBCS officer. A very good speech, but if I cannot express what we are aspiring for Bengal from my heart, I don't think there is any anything that I'm going to achieve reading out from a piece of paper. So we want your support. We do not want a cloudburst in Kolkata, but we'll ensure that your clouds of certainty, your clouds of dreams are properly nurtured in Kolkata, and financially and otherwise it rains music in the IT hub in Kolkata. So once again, it is not easy to deliver a sermon, I would not call it a speech, a sermon to people who are already investing in different parts of India and are all accomplished people here. So my only request to all of you is that if there is anyone here, I'm sure BCCI may have even forced a few people to meet me, but I mean that's on a lighter note, to make my one-to-one interactions look bigger and better. So even if you're coming to meet me by force, make sure that that force takes you towards Bengal. It's a place to be, trust me. The IT ministry is working full time. There are no files that are pending as I talk to you. Politics is not something where I have a great aspiration. I actually have no aspiration. I want to take it as a corporate job. I can easily go back home after office or do my music and watch Netflix and Amazon. But I take out time from there to ensure that the place that I'm in, the responsibility that has been bestowed upon me by our Honorable Chief Minister is taken care of in the manner it is done, in the manner that all of you are used to, in the manner, the way you sing praises for other cities other than Kolkata or the other places that we have in West Bengal. So come to Kolkata. That's the place to be. And as I said, Bengal and I, taking it out from BCCI, come see and see. And there I'm very sure that your excitement and everyone wants to grow. The industry needs to grow financially. So I think that's the place to be. And we are very, very confident, and we have the mandate and the aspiration to make Kolkata a really, really happening place in terms of IT in the years to come. Once again, thank you so much, BCC and I, for making me part of this enlightening day. I'm looking forward to the one-on-one meets, and anyone who would want to know more about what we could do to make your lives easier in Kolkata. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
We would now request Dr. Chiranjeev Bhattacharya, Chairperson of IT Entrepreneurs and E-Commerce Committee and Co-Chairperson of IT Committee, Bengal Chamber, to deliver the formal vote of thanks.
Honorable Minister in charge, Shri Babul Supriyo, Mr. Gautam Ray, Mr. Arnab Basu, Dr. Gopichand Katragadda, and Mr. Ravindra Chamaria, and the wonderful audience sitting here. It gives me great pleasure to deliver the formal vote of thanks for the second Tech E-Summit of BCC and I. We feel privileged to have received an enthusiastic response from the technology capital city of the country, coming from the city of joy. We were greatly inspired with the excitement and vibe which we received last year from the invitees of the summit. We received also a number of proposals to collaborate and facilitate in diverse areas. And the good news is that we have made significant progress in these collaborations with major players in the ecosystem here. Working for this summit, we have also been enriched by knowing more and more investors and engaged with them very closely. We at BCC and I have been always very serious and active in the B2B as well as the B2G space. But now we are looking at certain new initiatives, which was mentioned by Mr. Hon'ble earlier, that is creating this platform for connectivity between startups, entrepreneurs, and investors. We would like to express our thanks to all the investors who have come forward to join this platform. They have interacted with a number of startups yesterday, in the pre-proof of concept stage, as well as in formats of speed dating and pitching respectively. We would be extremely delighted if investments mature from here. However, we firmly believe that as every experience in life teaches us a lesson, it is very true in the domain of investment as well. So meeting the investors and the mentors, understanding their perspectives, would surely make our startups much more mature. We must thank all the startup founders also who have shared their ideas and business contours, making this platform inspirational for all of us. Today's program would also feature some promising startups who have marked their presence with significant glory, and it would be really motivational to hear their journey and inspirational to know about their future potential and how they plan to prosper. We are grateful to the dignitaries from Bangalore who have carved out time and joined this summit. Their participation and deliberations make us even more optimistic to work in this geography. Our efforts have been strengthened by participation of the delegation of successful entrepreneurs, senior IT professionals, senior academicians from Kolkata, who would also share their journey and experience today. My vote of thanks would remain incomplete without mentioning Infinity. The team of Infinity has been a true co-organizer with us, joining the curation of this summit. Bandhan is our principal partner at the Welcomhotel BCC and Tech Incubation Center. Shri Babul Supriyo, Honorable Minister in Charge, Information Technology and Electronics, as well as Renewable Energy, Government of West Bengal, has been extremely gracious to join this program with us. And he has continuously shared his vision for Bengal as an IT destination. Our sincere gratitude to him for that. We look forward to a shared prosperity, leveraging the advantages of various locations and complementing each other. Thank you so much once again.